Hello there, Commonwealth from here. Zelda's 40th anniversary will be unique, that we might see a perfect hand from Nintendo. 4 aces, credits to Nade, and 2 jokers, credits Nintendo, who also produce playing cards. Some treats are already being served in 2025. First 4 figures is back, and offerings the life-size Decade Master Sword that includes the gloom that caused it to break. Pre-orders December 18th. With that said, combined these could provide 12 months that will change the franchise forever, as Nashweedle has previously teased a year-long presence of Zelda. And we're starting with our Ace of Hearts, the reveal of the next open-air Zelda game. No doubt the big one, as nothing is greater than a brand new and proper Zelda Unknown. After Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom established the legend as Nintendo's big, aimed at Western markets, open-world franchise, it is now fully able to easily compete with anyone. No matter whether it's called CD Projekt's Red The Witcher 4, or Bethesda's The Elder Scrolls 6, or any would-be fantasy open-world competitors. At the same time, The Legend of Zelda has thankfully for all of us not the luxury of waiting 10 years between releases, and next year we're 3 full years away from the open-air launch of Tears of the Kingdom on May 12, 2023. Gameplay-wise, no one can compete. Though we cannot wait to see what the Zelda team is experimenting with, the 40th anniversary will likely come down to a different Triforce, namely art style/graphics, theme of the game, and map. Looking back at the last 10 plus years of open-air Zelda reveals, we know that with 3D games, we don't get the actual title until much later. This is literally the oldest 3D Zelda tradition, and most likely it will not change. Even so, we're also 10 plus years since the last snap and reveal of a new Zelda art style. The power of this franchise that the Zelda team has. Visual variety. No doubt it will happen again for the Nintendo Switch too. Anything else would really be a disappointment, since we need to know, are we going in a more cartoony or realistic direction from Breath and Tears? Seeing the power of the system, it is clear that there's an increased possibility in going in the right rather than left direction. Plus we all know what kind of reactions a realistic new Zelda game can deliver. Next, the Triforce of Wisdom, the theme of the game. And I'll be real brief here, as it is nearly impossible to predict. Ancient technology was what initiated the action in the 2014 reveal. But with this being a key gameplay theme in both 2017 and 2023, we could be in for a shocker. And with that in mind, onto the final piece. The Triforce of Courage. Namely, a brand new map. Something we haven't seen in over a decade. And yes, it is naturally unlikely that we'll get it in its entirety again like we got at the Game Awards in 2014, but it is definitely possible that with the open-air theme, we can at least get a major vista again over the land we'll be exploring. We have historic precedent from June 2014 and 2019, and in fact also 2024. The big question is naturally whether the Zelda team will, after over 10 years with new games set exclusively in Hyrule, leave the kingdom for a new land. It is naturally a very risky move to make, as only a single 3D Zelda game has done it, and even then, it was a sequel with a previously established hero. Still, starting 100% fresh with not only a new main playable character, but also an entirely new region or land is exactly what the Elder Scrolls and The Witcher has already confirmed to be doing. In other words, there's definitely room for challenging some more Zelda conventions, even 13 years after it was first done by Eiji Aonuma. But why the certainty that we'll be seeing the next Zelda game within the 40th anniversary year, so 2026? The answer is quite interesting, as big 3D Zelda games have had some presence at every major Zelda anniversary since, well, the beginning of these type of games. Zelda's 10th anniversary was marked by Ocarina of Time's reveal under the codename Zelda 64 in 1996. 5 years later, in 2001, The Wind Waker was revealed. Then both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword launched respectively for the 20th and 25th anniversary of the franchise. Breath of the Wild got its title and first demo in 2016, while Zelda's 35th anniversary was announced right before the introduction of the Sky Islands and planned release year. The Zelda team knows what is expected and what marketing cycle needs to begin during this 40th anniversary. The next Zelda, exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2, revealed in the main Nintendo Direct of 2026. We're at ILCON, the ESA's attempt to revive E3, and key to it is that Nintendo is confirmed to be attending in Las Vegas in the final week of April. Could this be the moment? Who knows, it could also happen as typical in June. But time for our ace of clubs, or in this case, the Master Sword. Twilight Princess on GameCube Switch 2 Online. The Wind Waker delivered the goods for the launch of both the Nintendo Switch 2 and GameCube Switch 2 Online. It may not have been what everyone wanted, but it looks like as long as the game was on GameCube, we would not be getting the HD version on the Switch 2, but rather the original in a Netflix-style version. Naturally, Twilight Princess is turning 20 years old during the big Zelda anniversary, and though it would be tempting to say Twilight Princess 4K, I simply don't think that is what Nintendo will do when they have very few Zelda games otherwise for GameCube Online. Better widescreen versions of both the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess will eventually come, but it might not be on Nintendo Switch 2. Let's get to our Ace of Diamonds, Masterworks Tears of the Kingdom. Another brief entry that will probably end up with a different name, as Masterworks Breath of the Wild ended up as creating a champion in the West. Either way, we're long overdue for this one. In fact, it should occur in the first half of 2026, before the reveal of the next chapter of the Zelda franchise. Speaking of, our final ace of spades, or in this case, the Triforce. Ocarina of Time 4K Remake, though likely just called Ocarina of Time. I cannot stress this enough. Yes, the next Zelda game is crucial to the open-air future, but this right here could literally reset the cycle of Zelda 3D remakes. The reveal alone will break the internet, and its release will easily justify the lack of any new 3D Zelda until much later this generation. And here's the thing, being actually able to play something Zelda in a whole new form is exactly why this remake is the best fit. Finally having proper camera controls, new realistic visuals that will not age quickly as they are in upscaled 4K and in 60 frames per second are just the most technical tip of the iceberg. As Ocarina of Time, especially if developed by Nintendo, can be so much more than it currently is. Since Hyrule Field could be denser and bigger, Epona could be able to ride into Kakariko Village and maybe even Kokiri Forest. A new dungeon could be included, and the same goes with much more cut content. Include the Master Quest from the GameCube and Ocarina of Time 3D and the Boss Rush mode from 3D, and you have easily the best Zelda remake to date. If this also comes around the time of Ocarina 3D in 2011 and Skyward Sword HD in 2021, then Nintendo has simply won 2026. This will top the remake wave we have seen since 2019. $80 might be controversial, but if packed with content, including never seen before cut content, then this will be a winner no matter how you turn it. The world is more ready than ever, especially with LEGO Zelda Ocarina of Time Final Battle Diorama, so Link vs Ganondorf/Ganon, also coming in 2026. A return to the Nintendo 64 and 3DS King, the story that became a legend, now in upscaled 4K 60 FPS. Alright, 4 aces to dominate, but we still have 2 jokers, so here is Joker 1, Theme Park section. Super Mario with Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, and most recently, Poké Park Kanto. Now the next big move is The Legend of Zelda. It will require more planning, but exploring Hyrule physically is a money printer like no other, especially if we get a combination for this world. Ocarina of Time and Tears of the Kingdom. So Hyrule Castle Town, Castle, and the ultimate ride. No, not minecarts, we already have that for Donkey Kong Country. Instead, Light Dragon versus Demon Dragon. Now that will be peak. Plus think about the exclusive merch and food potential at a proper Hyrule gourmet restaurant with dishes based on recipes from Breath and Tears. Anyhow, let's finish off with the second Joker, or Tingle if you prefer. The Legend of Zelda movie. Here I believe that Nintendo together with Sony Pictures and the already confirmed 2 main actors could absolutely deliver a golden Triforce. First with a presence in one of the Nintendo Directs, just like we saw with the Super Mario movies. Then deliver the first teaser trailer, giving us a true sense of the characters, world and special effects for the fantasy elements. Last but definitely not least, they could pull the Mario movie card of bringing a part of a scene from the Zelda movie to the game awards. That, and even more, is possible. But now I want to hear from you. What do you expect for Zelda's 40th anniversary? Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell. And last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching and to all our patreon.com/comearound patrons. Special shoutouts go to Raw Producer, Jonathan, and heroes Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You all rock, and please enjoy these awesome videos.